Hey guys, it's Mark from snowonly.com here. We are coming up to the high season, so I thought it was important to have a little bit of a discussion on the benefits of buying off-plan property in the French Alps, because it might be the only one that you can visit this season because of obviously high rental demands. So I just got a bit of a presentation that we can kind of go through. I'll go through as quickly as possible. If you want the presentation, please reach out to me at mark@snowonly.com, or please feel free just to have a look at this YouTube video. Hope it will help you. So a quick introduction. Why buy off-plan in the French Alps? The French Alps remains one of Europe's most stable and desirable ski property markets. We can see that there's a lot of appreciation at the moment going on in the Alps. Prime location property, especially places like Maribel, they've had some real elevation in the price per square meter in the last couple of years. Buying off-plan means purchasing a new build before completion, unlocking exclusive financial and lifestyle advantages. Let's explore why it's a smart move for investors and lifestyle buyers alike. So quick introduction there. Actually, this property that you see here on the side of the presentation is the Tarentaise. It is an off-plan property in the Maribel Monterey. So if you are interested in something like this, then please feel free to get in touch. Again, you can reach me at mark@snowonly.com. So first thing I want to just jump into is the staggered payment schedule during the building phase. The benefit of this is obviously you don't have to pay a lot of money up front, depending whether you're building a proper off-plan property or something through the phase. Then the stages will be staggered throughout the construction phase. If it's 18 months, they're generally staggered over 18 months. I think pretty much everyone is aware of this anyway, but it just eases cash flow. I think we had one buyer that was potentially investing in other places. So this kind of obviously helped the cash flow, that he didn't have to put all the money up front, and then he could stagger these payments along the way. Reduces financial strain versus paying full price up front. And also what it does allow is time for financing, currency planning and capital management. Currency planning, without getting too much into it, you can sometimes lock in a forward contract. It just basically allows you to know the actual value of the property that you're paying for during this construction payment, so you can lock in an exchange rate, so you're not susceptible to the fluctuations of the exchange. Sometimes it can work for you, sometimes it can work against you, but I think probably peace of mind is a good idea to lock in an exchange rate throughout the construction phase, so you can manage your finances a little bit easier, knowing exactly what you're going to pay each month. So staggered payment schedule during the building phase. Low maintenance for new build property. You can kind of read through these yourself, but obviously with the older properties, a lot of people are doing some quite extensive renovations. So brand new homes come with structural warranties and modern building standards, lower upkeep costs compared to older chalets, and energy efficient design and minimizing long-term running costs. So obviously everything that you build on day one when you take over, they will have warranties on there. So for, I don't know how long, how good the developer is, depending on obviously the maintenance of your property. Hopefully it's very long standing for the future, so you won't have to do extensive renovation on old designs when you buy an off-plan property. Don't forget, I think that being in real estate for a long time, you do go into a ski property, maybe spend half an hour there, and then make a decision on spending millions of euros. It's difficult to obviously then go in there and see, maybe once you peel back the layers, that maybe it needs a lot more renovation than you actually thought initially. So obviously they have structural surveyors, etc., but you do have a little bit more guarantee with a new build property, that you can see the evolution of the building process and how it is built along the way. So low maintenance for new build properties. We also have, if you wanted to, the 20% VAT recovery. Obviously for new build properties in France, you do have an option of sticking into a rental program, and then it allows you to reclaim the 20% VAT, which is an incentive for new build properties. So eligible buyers can reclaim 20% VAT when renting the property under certain conditions. Huge saving potentially on price. French notaries and developers assist with the process to ensure compliance. 99% of people are going to rent their properties anyway, so this is quite a good way, a good incentive for new build over resale properties. Easy maths: if your property is, example, 500,000 euros and you reclaim the VAT, you can then take the outlay is only 400,000. Although you do have to pay this upfront, even if you don't have the money, which I've mentioned in a previous webinar. You can take a short-term bridging loan to cover the extra 100,000. The banks are pretty easy with this because they know that you're going to recover it through the VAT system. So it's only a short-term loan. So actually, if you are maximizing on 400,000 in terms of your budget and you want a 500,000, there are ways that you can do it, especially if you're going to reclaim the 20% VAT. But again, another incentive for buying off-plan property. One of the ones that I like is securing the price while the property appreciates. With the appreciation of property, you can even look at the recent Knight Frank report 2026 of Alpine property. You can see that there's a quite strong appreciation across the Alps. Being able to secure a price on day one allows you to lock in, let's say, for an 18-month build, whilst the ski resort, especially if it's in a good location, while the ski resort appreciates, you've locked in that early price. And then you can obviously sit back and with your stage payments, pay accordingly. And then by the time you take over your property, it could be worth a lot more than you originally purchased. For people that kind of say, I'm going to wait 2 years and then wait till something's built, then obviously you're missing out on that 2-year appreciation. When buying off plan, hopefully you have the financial capabilities to be able to see that through. So securing the property price while the property appreciates is, for me, I think, quite an incentive for investors. One of the ones that kind of go hand in hand with this is securing an early price as the properties sell. Developers often increase prices as sales progress. Buying early ensures access to the best units at the most competitive price. If you do have the advantage to see a development that works for you and you can get into it early, obviously you have the benefit of choosing the most appealing unit within the development, but it also allows you to lock in that early buying price. Typically, any development that is going through the building phase will maybe appreciate by 10 to 15% as the property starts to sell. So with the appreciation just on the 18 months term and the fact that developers are going to often increase the price, it's quite good for investors to get into properties early, especially ones in good locations where there is a lot of demand. You can always decide to sell it at the end, but it is a very good incentive. What we are protected by, which I will obviously mention, is the GFA certificate. So there is zero risk when you're doing this. So if you do see a property similar to what we've experienced with the Tarentaise in Maribel, that people are securing early prices because we have these two subjects that are happening. Maribel's at 1750, largest ski area in the world, right in the center of it, ski in, ski out. We know that it's going to appreciate over the next 18 months, and we know the developer's going to put up the prices during the construction phase. So you can get in early now to obviously secure those prices and still have an incredible property as long as you have the patience to do so. The other incentive is the reduced notary fees, on new build properties. New build purchases enjoy significantly reduced notary fees, typically 2 to 3% instead of 8 to 9%. This translates into thousands of euros in saving, a cost advantage of off-plan ownership. It is quite crazy, actually, if you consider and combine it with the VAT recovery. For example, again, easy maths. If we're doing 50,000 property resale, it will probably cost you 545,000 euros. If you do a off-plan property, it will typically cost you, let's say, 2-3% of that, 515,000, but you can reclaim the VAT on that, which you might not be able to do on a resale. Let's say it takes it down to, argument's sake, 420,000. That difference of 420 compared with 545 is obviously very, very significant for the same size property. That is why people tend to buy off-plan properties, as I said, as long as they've got the patience to do so. One of the things, this is why I wanted to release the video now, one of the things that people are slightly unaware of, and we're getting a lot of people going to the ski season now, is when the ski season hits, a lot of these resale properties are not going to be accessible, or there is going to be a very, very small window of opportunity for buyers to get into properties that are being sold, because 9 times out of 10, they are going to be rented. We have actually last season had cases where people were waiting outside properties to view it, but it's rented with the expectation that they can just see it when they feel like. That is not the case. Obviously, with off-plan properties, you can look at all the visuals, maybe a presentation of the property, or if it's through some sort of construction phase, then you can go and see the shell unit to see what the property looks like. So typically there's going to be a lot more new build off-plan properties being sold this high season, just purely because once you're in the bubble of wanting to buy a property and you can see things like this, then the opportunity only presents itself to new build properties. Also, in the snow with resale properties, it tend to be covered by snow, so you can't obviously see the small maintenance issues that might need to be done on resale properties. So there is a distinct advantage to buying off-plan properties through this high season. As I mentioned earlier, the GFA certificate. French law requires developers to provide a GFA financial guarantee of completion, ensures your property will be completed even in case of developer default, provides legal protection and peace of mind. So if you do have the incentive, let's say, to buy an off-plan property that hasn't had the GFA certificate yet, no worries, because you will obviously only be putting down a deposit, and the deposit will be refunded if the GFA certificate is not approved. The GFA certificate is basically a financial guarantee of completion by the bank should anything happen to the developer. This is usually based on around 50% of the sale of the property. Once they get to this phase, a GFA certificate will be released, which then usually allows the development to start building. So it's very, very secure for any investors. So again, as I say, if you couple all this together, early prices, both on the appreciation over 18 months and of the building as it goes through the sales stage, security with the GFA certificate. So if you do find these properties, and you, as I said, patience is the key, there is a real incentive for buyers to go through this process, because it is loaded a lot in the buyer's favor in terms of an investment and the security of the development that you are investing in. Please feel free to give us a call, and we can refer you to our legal representation, and they can just guarantee and maybe go into the nitty-gritty if you want to ask any questions around this. One of the things I like about off-plan property is actually when people look at property, the dreams are sometimes bigger than reality. So enjoy the process. A lot of people kind of see what they kind of dream of when they look into off-plan properties. Sometimes when you can touch and feel a finished property, sometimes the reality is not as big as the dream of what you want. So it's always a nice time to buy an off-plan property and go through that 2-year process or 18-month process of what it could be. Buying off-plan lets you be part of the creation journey, which I think is important for a lot of people. You can enjoy watching your Alpine dream take shape and get excited by the things that you can change in the property. Visualize, personalize, and anticipate life in your mountain home. As I come back to, patience is key, but to see your property being built is an exciting time, that is for sure. This kind of leads us on to a more of a hands-on approach, adjust to suit your needs with off-plan property. Depending on what stage this is with the developer, you can customize your interiors, finishes, layouts to fit your lifestyle. This works a lot for a lot of higher end property, maybe, that people use it also in relation to their business, so that their property sometimes reflects the business that they're in. So if there's any partners that they want to kind of show their property to or allow people as part of their business process, I think it's important that they customize to a certain taste that maybe fits what they're trying to do in their business life. And I think people like to be able to put in their own stamp on the property just to personalize it a little bit more. So you can influence design choices early in the process, create a home that reflects your taste and functional needs. Obviously, when you're changing bedrooms or adding a spa, these changes need to be made a little bit earlier so the developer can move and adjust accordingly. If it's just cosmetic stuff, then you can do it at a later stage. But I think it's important that people customize to their needs of the property, something you can do in off-plan property. I'm not saying that you can't do it on a resale property, but it might be a little bit more costly. One of the things is important as we are evolving so much, and you can see from dated properties, modern homes with modern appliances, latest building technology ensure comfort, safety and energy efficient, fully equipped kitchens and smart home features ready to move in or rent out from day one. I think it's important that as you can feel the demand or the evolution of property kind of moves, that you need to stay up with the demand from a rental point of view. That kind of like Alpine modern style is very much in demand, and with the world evolving so much in terms of technology, lighting, etc., I think in order to maximize your rental income, you don't want to get left behind with an older style property that maybe lacks what the newer ones can offer. So again, another benefit of an off-plan property. So this is my idea, obviously, for all the things that I've mentioned today, the benefits of buying off-plan property. I'm not saying there's no benefits of buying resale property, because obviously that to counteract this, you do have to be patient in terms of an off-plan property. And I do understand that people want something a little bit more immediate rather than waiting so long. But as I said, if you do have the patience for it, then I think it is probably the best route moving forward. You can buy with flexibility, security and financial advantage. Participate in the creation of your dream Alpine retreat. Benefit from strong long-term capital growth in premium location, partner with a trusted developer or property consultant, which you can obviously do through Snow Only. We can make those introductions. Explore current off-plan projects available now in top French resorts, and you start your journey towards Alpine ownership today by going on snowonly.com and having a look, or feel free to reach out to us and we can recommend places in particular areas, working with agents and developers that are very, very good at their job moving forward. That is it for today. That is the benefits of buying off-plan property in the French Alps. Please feel free to follow us on YouTube. We will try and get as many of these out as possible. I hope it helps you. Please feel free to email me at mark@snowonly.com. But if you obviously sign up, like, share and subscribe to the Snow Only YouTube channel, then we'll just try and add things accordingly through the season. If there's anything that you kind of want to find out, please leave us a message. You can send an email to me, as I said, at mark@snowonly.com. And if you want a video on anything specific, we are more than happy to accommodate and see if we can draft something up for you. But apart from that, thank you very much for your time. I hope it wasn't too long. Cheers. Bye.